Hello, everyone. This is Nina Collins from Revel. I'm the Chief Creative Officer at Revel. And I'm here today doing our weekly podcast recording. Our podcast is called Raging Gracefully. And today we're talking about home swapping. And our special guest is a woman named Alexandra Humbel of a website called peoplelikeus.world, which we'll put in the chat. And we're going to have just an all-around general conversation about the virtues of home swapping, the pros and the cons, and we'll talk about Alexandra's business and the role she plays there and why home swapping is such a great idea and why people don't always do it or it's fairly new. So welcome, Alexandra.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, really glad to have you here. So first of all, tell us just a little bit about you, Alexandra. How old are you? What nationality are you? Where do you live?
Okay. I'm just 60. Just turned 60. I am French-Swiss, double national. I was born and raised in Paris, studied in the US, studied in the UK, worked most of my career in the PR and communication for the fashion industry.
Oh, wow.
So I was traveling a lot to the US, so that's why I'm feeling very, very close to the United States. I also studied in Austin, Texas.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you lived, where in the United States did you live? You lived in Texas, where else?
Yes, in New York and in California. Actually, I spent a lot of time in Santa Barbara, California.
Nice, lucky you.
Yeah, lucky me. I agree.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
And before, I home exchanged a lot with Santa Barbara before I, had a more permanent residence.
Okay. All right. So how long do we think home exchange websites have existed? I've belonged to, I think one of the major ones, like I think it's called homeexchange.com.
Yeah.
I've used a few times. And I guess I discovered that maybe 12 years ago. How many of these companies exist and how many are kind of the leaders, do you think?
Well, the company you mentioned is the leader in terms of size. It's been in business for about 30 years. It had it changed a lot a few years ago. It was acquired by a French company, which changed a little bit the dynamic and the business model into guest points. So it's kind of a different way to exchange. So basically, there's something for everyone. Some people love it. Some people are more comfortable with the way we exchange, like people like us, which is more like the grassroots way to exchange, where you can have simultaneous, non-simultaneous hospitality. There are no points. It's totally non-transactional.
Interesting. I didn't know that there was a point system on home exchange. I did it for about a year and then I left it because I just got so many queries that I wasn't responding to, and it just felt like I wasn't going to use it. But I guess we should back up, for example, for a second and just explain exactly what a typical home exchange is. Like, what is the whole concept? Do you want to explain it?
Yes, sure. It's pretty simple. It's you stay in my house while I stay in yours. Basically, this is what it is.
Yeah.
So there are variants to that. We can the simple simultaneous exchange is like you come to my place for 2 weeks and I go to your place for 2 weeks at the same time. So literally we cross each other in the air.
Yeah.
And we leave the key somewhere and we spend the same amount of time in our respective houses. Another way to do it, if we want it, and if it's something that works better for the two of us, is I go to your apartment in Brooklyn at Christmas, because anyway, you're going to be gone. So your apartment is vacant, but you come at my place in April, because April is great in Zurich and my apartment is free. So we can absolutely make this kind of arrangement. And the number of days you stay in my place doesn't have to match exactly the number of days. It doesn't matter. The only thing that is important is that it makes us happy. Right. Makes you happy, it makes me happy, and it's an arrangement that works for both of us and both our families.
Yeah, I've never been to Zurich, and just having this conversation is making me think I should swap with you. I have a very nice apartment in Brooklyn. I want to go to Zurich.
Yes.
So what keeps people from doing it? Because I have to say, I have two properties. I have an apartment in Brooklyn and a house out in East Hampton at the beach, and always think I should be doing more home exchanging, and I just don't get around to it. What is the stumbling block for people?
Well, it's a very good question, because this is a question we want to ask ourselves every day. We think we should grow exponentially even faster.
Like a
We should
no-brainer.
be more people who could benefit in this world of home exchanging. So that's a very fair question. So now, this being said, and of course, we talk to a lot of people who say, oh, that sounds so incredibly cool. I wish I could do the same, but oh, my wife will never want to, my husband will never want to,
What do I do with my dog?
I'm not sure I want to have strangers in my house. And it's non-transactional, so is it just as simple? We exchange homes, and the transactional model of renting is familiar to all of us. We pay every month, or we pay for the holidays to rent for a place. Home exchanging is kind of out of the box, and it's part of what is called the sharing economy.
Yeah.
And it's a lot about, instead of exchanging money, we exchange value.
Right.
And the
Which
value
is fantastic. Yeah. No, I mean, it seems, I mean, as you say, it's like a no-brainer. It seems like such a good idea. And also in this world of Airbnb, like I'm staying in an Airbnb right now in Copenhagen. So I'm in someone's home, and it's fabulous. It's like a perfect way to stay here. And I'm spending thousands of dollars to do it. And these people have great taste, and I bet they would really like my apartment in Brooklyn. So like, why shouldn't I, have done a swap? So it's interesting. I suppose it must make people feel vulnerable in some way because they're just not used to it. Maybe like the idea of paying for where you stay is just more what we're used to. And I think people get confused a little bit. So the one time I did a home exchange, I stayed in someone's apartment in Vienna, and they my country house, and it was fabulous. It worked perfectly. But I suppose one difference is like when you're in an Airbnb that's been set up to kind of feel like a hotel where it's not very personal, it's in some ways easier than when you home swap and you're really in someone's home. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't, like, it's more, if there are pictures, there are books, there's more personal stuff around, right?
What you're describing me now is exactly the added value of a home exchange. I love when people read my books, watch my CD, listen to my CDs, listen to my music. And, it's, as you say, a lot more personal. You have books, you have magazines, you have toys in the rooms, in the kids' bedroom.
Yeah.
You have bicycles in the garage. You have a lot of stuff that is personal. And if you're okay with it, the family that is coming, who is coming, or the couple, or the person who is going to come to your place is going to enjoy.
So there's like a generosity of spirit. I mean, that's interesting. So how typically, is there a typical, how much do you get to know the people before you agree to swap? Probably not very much, right?
Yes. Well, that's what makes the whole difference. You never have strangers in your home. Never. You have, and the website is built up in a way that you have a lot of opportunities to know each other before you make any agreement. So let's say I'm interested in your apartment in Brooklyn. I want to go to Brooklyn. I say, hi, Elena. How are you? I live in Zurich. I would love to come to your place in April. Are you interested? This is what I do. I do this and that in life. My husband does this and that. So I introduce myself, and I also have my profile. So you know already a little bit about who I am. And then you answer me, and then we start a conversation if you're interested. And then we go a little bit more into detail. And very quickly, we're on a first name basis, and we're like friends who have not met each other. So it's a lot. It's not like you have strangers in your home. You have people you had a time to get familiar with, get comfortable with. And by the time you agree for a home exchange, you know each other quite well.
Yeah. So it's a social platform. It's a community.
It's a social platform. Plus you have reviews, of course, people accumulate the brownie points that they have, good hosts and good guests. That's important for the community to know. And we have also, it's important to notice, because the Facebook group existed before the website existed.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that, about the company and the Facebook group and how many members you have.
Yes, the company was founded by Drew Seitam and his wife, Kathy. In 2017, they had kind of raised their son and they had more time and he was like more independent. And they said, well, now we're going to travel the world. We want to go here and there, long-term, learn languages, make friends, but it's going to cost us a fortune. How can we afford that? So they had already done a couple of home exchanges and they were like, this is what we're going to do. We already have a few friends around the world. Let's create a Facebook group. It started with a Facebook group with a few friends. Okay. And they were just...
Sorry to interrupt. Were they English or American?
He's Australian.
Australian. Okay, that's right.
He's based in Sydney. The website is quite international. I mean, the Australians represent only 10% of the community, European 48%. I'm just checking my figures, and North America 37%.
Nice. That's a nice balance.
Yeah.
Okay, so they started it as a Facebook group and they called it People Like Us.
Yeah, because they said, wouldn't it be cool if we could add more people like us in this group? And, that would give more choice, more destinations, more opportunity to make new friends. So after a while, it grew organically in a way that at some point, Drew being an IT expert, he creates websites, he consults in IT at a high level. That's what he does. So he created the website. For him, it was kind of a no-brainer to make it also user-friendly and welcoming and easy to use. And this is how People Like Us was born. So
that's amazing. So, and how many members do you have in the Facebook group? And can anyone join the Facebook group?
It's a private group, but people get approved. It's growing every day, 26,000 members.
Nice, that's a good size. And then the community,
yeah.
And then the website, People Like Us, it's .world, right? How many members do you have and how much does it cost to join?
So we have 6,300 homes in 113 countries.
Wow.
So that means, Nina, if you had checked the website before you paid for an Airbnb in Lisbon and Comporta, you would have found for sure someone who wanted to go to New York and stay.
I'm sure.
And you could have stayed free.
And it's ridiculous because I'm honestly hardly ever at home. Like between my two places and as much as I travel, like my places are vacant a lot of the time. So I really should do this. And it's interesting when I'm asking the question, I have to ask it of myself. Why don't I do it? I mean, I also don't Airbnb my houses yet, but I think I will, just like the person who founded this company, Drew and his wife. I think now that my kids are older and out of the house and I really want to travel a lot, it's going to become very real, whether I should Airbnb or whether I should home swap. And that's one of the reasons, the main reason I wanted to interview you here on our podcast, because I think people, our demographic, it really makes perfect sense.
Yes. But the difference with if you list your home on Airbnb, you have to, as you were saying, prepare your house a little bit like a hotel. You have to empty the closet, get rid of the personal things and put at disposition something which is a rental.
Yeah.
Okay. When you home exchange, people are coming with a suitcase. So you're going to empty one closet, maybe a few hangers so that they can, set up comfortably. But the rest of your stuff, you leave it. So
I guess that brings up the question of trust, right? I mean, and again, you'd have this anyway if you were renting it out, but but what happens if someone steals something? What happens if someone breaks something? I mean, I think the answer is what I did find in my brief experience home swapping is that you're basically swapping with like-minded people. Like my apartment in Brooklyn is comparable to your apartment in Zurich, and you're trusting me and I'm trusting you, and we're just adults, right? So if I break something, I let you know.
But I agree with you, but trust it's not a given. You have to have the right conditions, to grow this level of trust. So one of the answers is the reciprocity. Every person who comes to your place either is hosting also, he's hosting you at the same time, or is hosting other people. So everyone has skin in the game. They are going to behave the way they want people to behave in their place.
Right.
So that's one of the big differences. Now, to be honest, if you have valuables, if you have diamonds, probably you're gonna hide them or put them in a safe somewhere, or put it at the bank, or in a closet that with a key. That's good sense, just common sense, so that you're sure anything happens, that it's not the fault of the home exchangers. You see what I mean? So people do this, but a lot of trust is involved, and frankly, people are not crossing the ocean to steal your sound system.
Right.
They want to enjoy, visit the city, and have a great experience. What we observe is that people go the extra mile to be good guests.
Well, because they're also being rated. So just like on Airbnb or
they're being rated. And my experience is that every time I leave my house to another couple or another family, I always find a gift on the table, and flowers, and a thank you note, and the kids have signed the thank you note. And I remember a couple I exchanged with in Rome. I stayed at their place, and it was just for 3 or 4 days. So I said, you know what? There's food in the fridge and in the closet. Help yourself. I don't want you guys to waste your time going to the supermarket. Enjoy Paris and eat the food if you want to, if you eat at home. So they did, but they replaced 1 pack of pasta by like 7 ones. The closet was full. So what I'm saying is that people are behaving like if they were staying with family or friends, and they want to leave a wonderful memory of what
that's wonderful.
Your place. That's my experience.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So someone in the audience asked, are there legal considerations, for example, local zoning or other ordinances? I guess, I mean, it's home sharing. So it's like having guests. It's just like having friends or family come and stay.
It's like having friends staying at your place.
Yeah.
Now, this being said, we know that some properties are more strict than others. So we recommend, especially if it's for a few days, I mean, it's really nothing you have to worry about. But if you have to do a longer exchange, like 3 or 4 weeks, we think it's better to let the owner know if you rent, or if you're part of a property with strict rules, and say, look, I am not renting. This is not a lease. I'm having friends staying at my place, but I want you to know, because when you're going to cross them in the stairs, they're just say hi. They're just good friends staying with us.
Yeah, no, in this Airbnb I'm staying in, because we're here for 2 weeks, the owner met us when we arrived, and he said, if anyone asks you, tell them you're our friends. And that makes sense. Like in my condo in Brooklyn, I have friends stay all the time, but if I was letting strangers stay for a month, I would want to let someone know in some way. So yeah, so you work around whatever the restrictions are.
And to answer the legal, which is a very important question, the legal aspect, when you rent, you normally have to pay taxes from your income. That's normally the law. So with home exchange, you don't have this problem, obviously, because there is no money changing hands.
Yeah. So Betsy in the audience is saying that she did home exchange in the 90s. How is this company, People Like Us, different from other services? What makes you special?
That's a very good question. In the 90s, there was not much of social networks, or it was the beginning, or it was not that strong. Today, People Like Us is really born from a community of like-minded people. So now the way we're growing is one community of people is really spreading the word within their group, and more people are coming. So there is a sense of community that is really much stronger than it was in the 90s. Today, you can say that it's more about people than about real estate.
So it's really a community.
Yeah, that's what makes People Like Us different from other platforms in business. It's really about people. During COVID, people could not travel, so normally it would not have been such a thing. The Facebook group was buzzing. People were exchanging, cooking recipes and tricks and yoga lessons and you name it.
So as someone, because I created a Facebook group that also grew organically to about the same size as yours, I'm not surprised that you have many more people in the Facebook group than you do in the paid community, right? It's always hard to get people to pay. So in the Facebook group, are there exchanges happening that are happening for free? How do you guys crack down on that or make people join? That must be a challenge.
Yeah, no, we have a rule. It's a very clear rule. People who are not members of the community not members that people like us are welcome to join the conversation and ask questions, and they're more than welcome. But as soon as you want to propose your house for an exchange, you have to join people like us.
I
You
see.
have
So
to
that's
have a
smart.
listing.
Right. So
That's
you
cool.
you use it as a community builder and as a place for people to
Yes.
get to know each other and ask questions. That's really smart. And then how much does the community cost again, the website?
So it's like joining a club. It's a yearly subscription fee. It's $95 a year.
Mhm.
And with that, you can exchange as many times as you want.
Wow.
It's definitely unlimited exchanging, and again, no money changing hands. That's the only cost you're gonna have. And in addition to that, we have a what we call the globe. This is something you earn when you host someone without reciprocity. Let's say you have your apartment empty in Brooklyn, and I come and say I'd love to stay, but you're not interested in Zurich. I've been last year, and I'm not interested. But you're welcome to stay at my place. Doing that, hospitality, you earn a globe, and with this globe, you can ask another member to stay at their place.
Oh, nice. That's great.
So it's a little karma, it's a little token. It's not a currency, but it's like a karma. When you host, you can be hosted.
No, it makes sense. I have to say, I did that on people on homeexchange.com. I made a few offers with people and then ended up not going, but had them come and stay at my place, and it was great. And it felt really lovely, and it felt like good karma. I totally get it. So, of the 113 countries you represent, are there countries that are more popular than others?
Oh yes, I'm going to give you the top five. United States, 27%, then France, Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, and basically every country in Europe. 48% of our listings are in Europe. Home exchange is pretty popular in Europe. It's big. And yeah, North America, so US and Canada together, 37%. And yeah, we're growing also in Australia, New Zealand. We're very small still in Asia. There is a cultural thing that makes it a little bit harder to adopt, but the first ones to adopt are the expats in Asia, because maybe it's easier for them to get familiar with the concept of home exchange. So.
Yeah. And then in terms of the competition, like how as a business do you grow and make money? I mean, you're making money as a subscription service. Do you also have advertising? Do you do paid partnerships? Like how are you planning on growing and competing with the competition?
That's pretty much my job.
Yeah, that's your job.
I joined Drew a few months ago, and we're working on it. So we do a bit of advertising. Obviously, this is important to get our name out there. We're going to do a little bit more PR, also to get the media familiar with who we are and what we do, and our different positioning also as compared to other platforms.
Yeah, I would think magazines like Travel and Leisure and Departure.
Yes. So we have a lot of testimonials, so it's just easy press material. I've done that all my life, so I know that all these real life stories are exactly what the media want. It's just putting it out there. What we are going to do also in terms of marketing is approaching or responding to communities exactly like Rebel, but it could be a community of hiking clubs, or it can be many different interest-based communities, because we know for a fact that people trust people who have similar interests, or who are already in a conversation, or already have like a basic trust in each other. So this will be a very strong angle for us, because again, it's not about real estate, it's about people.
It's about relationships. Yeah, that makes
sense.
Yeah, interesting. And how often do you personally home swap?
1 year I home swapped, I think 5 times.
Yeah, because the idea when you told me the membership cost, so for 95 euro, I
Yes.
think you said a
Yeah.
year, it would be a really fun, someone should write a book. It'd be a fun project to like do a year subscription. And I mean, you'd have to obviously be retired or have the ability to work remotely, but to just determine to just do it all year, to constantly home swap, to just move around the world.
You know what? Ask my husband. This is our project. Really.
Yeah. I
This
mean,
is
that's
what we want to do. We are still. I'm working on the freelance basis, so for me it's easy. You know, the geography is not holding me. He has a job in the finance industry, so he's tied in Zurich. But very soon we're going to adopt home exchange as literally a lifestyle.
yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing here this month. We're just kind of traveling and working, and my boyfriend's a lawyer and he's working
Yes.
right now. He's on a call. So it's a matter of obviously like anything, making a decision to, do you want to live a nomadic life? Do you want to live a nomadic home sharing life? There are all these, I mean, we're
But you can start, you know what, you don't have to make this big decision like it's going to be my life. You can start by, okay, 3 months.
right. Or
3
just try
months,
once.
destinations.
Yeah.
3 times 1 month in one region of the world, because the whole idea is that you want to stay longer.
Yeah.
You want to be like a local. You want to melt in. You want to get to know your neighbors. It's be invited to a barbecue. That's the whole thing of the home exchange. And it sometimes happened with Airbnb, but not so much. But with home exchange, literally, when I have guests here, I let my neighbors know, couple of friends, here they are. If you meet them, greet them, invite them for a drink. That's what people do. That's what you want. That's the added value. So start with the 3 months, 3 destinations, and see how it works for you.
And do you have a newsletter, or is the way you kind of cultivate community is completely in the Facebook group?
For now, it's completely in the Facebook group, but obviously we need a newsletter. We know that people need to warm up to the concept. It's not like you make a decision one day to the other unless you already have an experience, or unless you want to start. My advice is to start with a weekend exchange at driving distance. You have to make this, cross the ocean. If it seems kind of a big leap of faith for you and you're not that comfortable, start with a weekend. You can call each other, you're going to see each other, and it's going to, make you familiar with the idea of now it's so simple. If it works for a weekend, why not going for a week, and why not, crossing the country?
And I think also I'm trying to think of it from a user perspective. It seems like it is important. I mean, in this world where there's so much social media now, it is important to find the community that actually resonates with you. Yes. So like I'm super intrigued by this, and I guess I want to figure out, I guess I should go on your Facebook group and kind of see what the people seem like there, and then see if I want to join, because like so many things in this world, we join them and then we don't follow up, and then what's the point? And there are, I know a lot of like, I met a woman from our community who came to New York from Portland, and she's a cat lover, and she belongs to some website where you exchange homes with your cats. I think there are there are a lot of different ways people can exchange these days. So you have to find the community that really resonates with you.
Yes, and the community within the community, because speaking of cats, we have a lot of filters in people like us. And some people love cats, so they're happy to stay in a house where there's a cat. Yeah, and some people are cat allergic. So you have to know that it's super important for your experience. And sometimes pets live in the home. And what I exchange, I never had a dog. And my children were longing, when do we get a dog? When do we get a dog? So I was like, I'm home exchanging in a house with a dog. So
and they left their dog in there?
Really? Sitting for a couple of weeks, and everyone was happy,
Wow, that's great. God. Okay, that's an interesting idea. All right, well, I'm definitely going to check out your website, and I feel like many of us, like this is something I should do and write about it. It would also be a really fun thing to write about. And you should have a newsletter, because I totally know the problem of going from a Facebook group to a small community. Like, how do you what do the community members get that you're not getting on the Facebook group, besides of course the ability to actually swap?
And the content is really no brainer. There are so many stories to tell, so many tips to give, and questions to answer, that It's
Yeah.
not a
Oh,
like
I know. Last question. I'm curious about the
yeah.
demographics of your members. Do they tend to be a certain age? Do they tend to be all over the map? Do you have any statistics about your
Yes,
demographic?
I do have statistics. I say that 52% are over 45 as related to, this group.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. So it's kind of half, probably half families and half kind of older people.
Well, we have 2 parents with kids, 31%. So it's kind of a third. Grown family, 14%. So yeah, altogether it's about half. It's about half, more or less.
Good, good.
And empty nesters or couples without kids, 36%.
Okay,
Yeah.
so about a third kind of probably really correlate to our community. And I mean, not that we don't, I mean, obviously we have members of our community who have kids too, but more of us are older. So guys, the Facebook group is called peopleLikeUs.world. The website is peopleLikeUs.world. You should definitely join the Facebook group, check it out, consider joining the website, which is €95 a year. It sounds like a really nice intimate community, right? The website itself is 6,300 people in 113 countries. So that sounds very manageable, because I personally felt like when I was on homeexchange.com, it was just too vast. I wanted a more intimate experience.
Yeah, it is intimate. The response rate of the members is 94%.
Wow.
So you get a response and a quick response.
Yeah.
It's yes or a no. If it's a no, it's a nice no. People always answer nicely, and make a point to do it also. And maybe later we're not free. Our house is not available between Christmas and New Year's Eve, but definitely I want to go to your place. Let's keep in touch.
Right.
So that's the way it works. So what I just posted in the chat is a link to a special page for the Revel community.
Ah, thank you.
With a 20% discount.
Oh, that's so
really
nice.
Exclusive to this group, because we want you to join us.
I will read it aloud, and I'll also post in our communities on our website about it. So peopleLikeUs.world/en/revel, REVEL, for 20% off. That's really generous of you. Thank you, Alexandra. And then someone asked, is there a trial to check it out and see the other properties before you subscribe as a member?
You can absolutely join as a trial, what we call a trial. That's an intermediary step that can work for you. You can build up your listing, create your listing, put photos, describe your house, and you can send messages, but you cannot exchange. If you want to exchange your house, you will have to join as a premium member.
Okay, great. All right, so you can totally check.
A foot in the door, but it will not. You will not be able to exchange in the trial position. But it's a way also to get closer and have a closer look.
Yeah, and see what's available. That's great.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much, Alexandra. It was lovely seeing you again.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you all for having me.
We will promote the link, the discount, which is really nice of you. We'll put it up all on our groups. And oh, good. Look at that. Someone named Yosora said, yes, I did join as a trial member. I found a gem and jumped in and never looked back. That's wonderful.
Yosra.
I wonder what it was. Yosra, can you tell us where it was? I'm very curious. And now that I'm in Europe for a month, I don't really want to go back. I want to keep jumping around. It's so fun here. So
yes. So
all right.
A new resource.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Lovely to see you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Nina.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.